Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
You've been traveling the world, Dallas.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And the content looks great. What doesn't look great, and I will say this as your friend, no, you're looking a little short these days. You're looking a little tiny next to Mason Miller. I don't know.
Funny.
I don't know if you were having like a short day or if, if you're in your old age, if you're just shrinking or if what it is. But yeah, I'm noticing that you're kind of like a little peanut now.
No, that's what happens when they chisel out pieces of granite and then stick a 105 mile an hour fucking rocket on them. And they call him Mason Miller. That's what happens when you stand next to that. That dude is 6'5", and he's listed at 200 pounds. I'm going to tell you right now,
200.
It's borderline. That's an absolute joke because it's not. He's fucking. That is 230. He is a brick shithouse. As I said, that is a large human being.
Yeah.
So
you
I don't
can
want to
basically take your description of Mason Miller and apply that to Pat Light when I take pictures with him. Like, you don't understand. Like, this man is like 6'6.5". He's a big human being.
I didn't have Pat Light at 6'6.5".
Oh, he's massive. Yeah. Let me look it up right now. Pat Light. You have to like Google like baseball player because Google is going to be like the bar owner, the business guy. Like, no. Pat Light, baseball guy. He is listed at 6'5", but he is 6'6.5" from at least from what he's big individual.
Love that. Good for him.
Great for him. Yeah. Shout out to Pat Light, who, by the way, I called him the other day and he didn't answer. And I texted him and I said, please call me back at your earliest convenience. And he said, I will call you back at my earliest convenience. Still haven't heard from him. So I'm not,
he's businessman.
Not super pumped about that. He is a businessman, but like I have things that I need to accomplish. And that is from Section 10 night. I have the jersey that we wore. It's signed by everyone that's ever been a co-host, everyone except for Pat Light. So I was like, can I send this to you for you to sign it and send it back? I'd really love to frame it now that I have the extra wall space to do so. And he's holding up the project. He really is.
Well, he's a man of many projects. He's a man who wears many hats, including a hard hat at times, Jared. He's a builder. Like this guy, he's got shit going on, so just cut him some slack. He'll get to it. It's not like it's not a priority. His priority list is just long. That's all.
Wouldn't you rather build your friendship than build a bar? I don't know. I mean, like, is it about money or is it about who's going to be surrounding your bedside, when you're on your way out, your bar or your friends?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if we're talking about you, unless it's like 3 miles from where you're currently at or offering some sort of chicken tender appetizer or post-game spread, then I don't know that you're showing up. So,
you know what I love about 2025, really 2024, but we're carrying it into 2025 is the chicken tender community is taking a stand against people like you, and we're not taking
chicken
it anymore.
Tender slander.
Yeah. Like we're just saying how we feel and with no shame. Like, there's like Dominic Mysterio. He is Rey Mysterio's son. He's in the WWE now, a very big star in the WWE. And he is leading the movement on chicken tendies being like breakfast, lunch, dinner, 7 days a week. He's just like, if you have them, I'm eating them. If you got them, I'm smoking
It's a utility player. That's why it can't be the centerpiece. It's great for chicken and waffles. You could throw a chicken tender. I mean, I don't like the chicken tender for chicken and waffles option, but it's understandable. It's a utility player. It's great. I just don't know that it's ready for the big time, right? That's all.
Speaking of 11-year-olds, 11-year-old name redacted. The individual hasn't come forward, has found the Paul Skenes rookie MLB patch debut card valued at $1 million ish, and has rejected the Pirates offer of what is it, $500,000, 30 years season tickets and like the 40th row and a suite with Livy Dunn or something like that.
Yeah, softball game, and there's a lot of other little details that have been thrown in there. Yes, but ultimately,
well, if you live in LA, like what good is that offer?
Well, no, and not only that, what good is the Pirates offer? And that's
and if
where
you're 11,
right? Well, that's where look, if you're in Pittsburgh and you've got
have
this
to weigh
going
that
for
as
you,
well.
that's awesome. Well, I mean, but Jared, let's be real. If you're a Yinzer and at 11 years old, you get season tickets dropped on you for the next 30 years, right? You're like, you're going over this. You're like, bro, and let's say your birthday's
when I was 11,
in
I already had season tickets, brother.
Yeah, well, you didn't have a Paul Skenes 101 rookie auto
all the
patch.
chicken tendies I
also
want.
all of that available to you. So that would be dialed in, right? You like as an 11-year-old, you can put it in perspective and go, shit, I could spend my 40th birthday at the ballpark if it all works out. Like, that's great. That's great.
So you're basically betting on the fact that you can't afford tickets to a Pirates game by the time you're 40.
No, I just think like that's a box that you can check off. How early? I mean, look, it feels a little different if you're in a place where people are on a 10-year wait list to get season tickets, right? Where these things are handed down through like deaths in the family and shit. Like that's one thing, but I don't know that that's happening for Pittsburgh Pirates season tickets at this point.
No.
So if it is something you were interested in, like as an 11-year-old and you could lock that in, who knows? Look, I feel the wave coming, Jared. There's a wave coming and he might be ready to jump on it. He's early. At 11.
Too
he's
early.
early.
He's a little too early. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Dallas, you live in Pittsburgh. It's your 11-year-old son. You are not advising him to take the Pirates package.
Jared, there was a day that I might allow him to cash that check. But nay, Jared. We want the future. We want to watch the future unfold. So we will take that check, that Charrington check. Done with it. We're going to ride this thing out. We will be with that beautiful naked lady at the front of right at the front of the ship. We will be at the front of that ship, Jared. And we will be watching glory sail in to the harbor. That's right. And that harbor, right down the mighty Allegheny, right under the Roberto Clemente, parked right out in right field of PNC. That's where glory goes down. And me and that little fucking 11-year-old, we're going to be right there to watch it all pop off. Raise the hopes, Jared. But if we're being real, absolutely fucking not. Show me the money. Show me the money. Get me to the auction house immediately. And that is what has happened. That is what has happened, Jared.
Sounds to me, Dallas, like the
big story.
Let's pull up like, if you go to pirates.com, am I gonna get like actual Pirates, or am I gonna get the baseball team? All right, good for Bob Nutting for getting the the domain for pirates.com, because that can't be cheap, like, because actual Pirates probably want their brand recognized. All right, single game tickets on sale now. Buy now. All right, let's go over here. Let's just like get like an average ticket price. Friday, April 4th against the Yankees at PNC Park. Let's look at some ticket prices, because I just want to do the math. Like, if you're offering me season tickets for 30 years, but I take $1 million, like how many tickets can I get with that money? Like, what if I just sell the card and get season tickets anyway? Not that I would do that.
No, that's why the conversation has been had about the value.
Let's call it $80. Let's call it $80, right? Okay, so $80 times 81 is $6,480. Times 30 is $194,400. So I can have season tickets. And if you have season tickets, I believe they offer you like a reduced rate. So let's just call it an even $200,000. Like, I can have season tickets to the Pittsburgh Pirates for $200,000 for the next 30 years. And then also still have $800,000 in addition to that.
Mm-hmm. Pretty,
but no Livy Dunn.
Pretty cut.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
you got no softball game. You got no Livy Dunn meet and greet. You got no Paul Skenes auto merch. Like,
there's got to be a way, if you really wanted to meet Livy Dunn. There's like, she seems very fan friendly, accessible. She's probably in a suite at Pirates games. Like, you could probably just You know,
The
if
big-
you're
the
if
big
you're
story
known
here-
at PNC, you could be like, "Hey, Livy, you know, it's
The
me,
big-
the
the big
11-year-old
story
that
here-
always comes to the games."
The big story is that the card was pulled, but in the hobby right now, the big story, the big field, the big vibe is, was this all a ruse? Was this
Oh, you
already
think the
planned?
11-year-old is an industry plant?
Well, so there was another breaker who took a picture of this card and says, I'm paraphrasing, was like, "Hey, yeah, so my 11-year-old neighbor pulled a pretty sweet card, and it's the Paul Skenes card, and he himself is a breaker, right?" And so then you get the journal entry, right? And this was pulled around Christmas, from what we understand, but the family, in an effort to try to save themselves and stay alive, had to evacuate multiple times from fire areas down here in Southern California. So the ability to get the card and get everything in step, like there was some tough times. So there's a lot of people who are wondering, like, really, like this was pulled, it didn't surface, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on around right now about whether or not that the 11-year-old is a plant, but is this really everything that it looks like? Are you
think
really
it's
buying
sus?
this?
You think it's sus?
Yeah, well, that's there's a lot of people who do think it's suspect.
Yeah, but what would be like then he never pulled the card, or there isn't an 11-year-old doesn't exist?
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
like
isn't it
people
like
are
you
like, does the
pull-
11-year-old exist? Because we haven't seen him. And it's like, well, the kid's 11 and he doesn't want to get crushed and have to deal with the pressure of like the shit that we're talking about right now, right? Could you imagine going to school today after having revealed to the world that you're the dude who got the Pirates card?
What
And-
11-year-old boy wouldn't want everyone to know I'm the guy?
The parents, though, I would have to believe, have some foresight here and understand when you have everything going on that you do, like because if you read the kid's letter and you know, he really wanted the box of cards early, the box of cards went up in price. Mom and dad weren't like, sorry, we're not gonna be able to make that commitment. That's tough. It's a lot. But mom and dad eventually said, you know what? You deserve it. You're a great little dude. We got your back, brother. They got him the box of cards, and you know, that's how it went down. So as far as how the card got to him, and everybody's just saying, we want to see the 11-year-old. Show me it's real. Show me he's real.
Well, isn't it that he
Show
pulled,
us the 11-year-old.
Don't you get like a card that says that you won the Paul Skenes card and then you have to redeem it through Topps?
No. So, Jared, I pulled a patch auto a week and a half ago, and I had created videos and everything about how I was going to troll the Pirates for the card, right? Like that I pulled the card because I have a video and I pulled it, and I don't know why I said it, but at the very end of the video, I was like, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho. And I was just, and then I thought to myself, I was like, I could send this to the Pirates right now and get them thinking, I have this card. I have this card. And I went through I do not have the Paul Skenes card, but the card that I do have, no. And so there's some vary. So you have the redemption card, which is what the Skenes was. It's just a paper card that tells you what card you have just won and to redeem it. And then the card that I pulled was not a redemption card. It was the actual card.
Right.
And side note, I know how much the average pack weighs, and I know how much the insert packs weigh. And that's why you see people at thrift stores or at like Walmart or Target or whatever. You'll see them with their little scales trying to open boxes and then weigh the packs, which is you can't open shit and then weigh the packs. You want the box? Buy the box. But these dudes are going and like buying what are called blasters or hangers, and they're buying those boxes, opening those up, and then trying to weigh each individual pack of cards.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I get it.
like
You know, it could be life
I can
changing
show you
money
the video.
involved, but
I could show you the guys the video. We weigh the cards and I find the anomaly. I separate it. And then at the very end, we have two packs that kind of get mixed up. And my wife and I are opening the cards. And I hand her one package. She goes, "Is this the right one?" And I said, "Yes, that's the anomaly." And she goes, as we're opening it, it was fucking awesome. She goes, "Why is it the anomaly?" And she opens it and she goes, "Oh, that's why." Boom. And she showed me the card and I fucking lost it.
So when are you planning on telling us who you pulled?
I mean, in all honesty, I could probably go down to my gun safe and pull it out and bring it up here. And that would be the first time that anybody in the free world would know which card it is.
I feel like you should do that for the show, you know?
Are you saying your wife doesn't live in a free world?
That's how I took it too, Joe.
She knows whose card it is, so she would not be in the population of people who don't know. That's what that means.
So she's not in the free world.
Yeah.
So you're imprisonating your wife.
Right.
Imprisonating? No, I'm not imprisonating her. She's allowed to move freely about the cabin wherever she would like. I'm
About
not
the cabin,
imprisonating.
though. Only the cabin.
Imprisonating.
Go get the card. Go get the card. I
Do you
want
want
to
me to
know.
go get the card?
Go get the card.
All right, I'll go get the
Go
card.
get the card. Yeah, card. I'm excited for this. I mean, I knew it wasn't Skenes because like I saw the video of him pulling the card. He would have said his name or something. Like he wouldn't have been able to contain himself. But
yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm not really hip to the industry. I'm curious to see what level of player it is that this card is.
yeah,
Because like is it a big deal if you get like, you know, the debut patch or whatever it is we're talking about of a player who doesn't really matter? Like, is that still cool? Or
Well, to give you an idea, Anthony Volpe's sold for 150 grand.
oh my god,
Yeah.
I could see that though. Like, yeah, I could see Volpe getting that kind of money. Like, I'm totally prepared to be underwhelmed. I think he was excited because it's a debut patch, but I think if it was
that's kind of
like
what I'm
Jared
getting at.
Jones, then he couldn't contain himself.
Well, Braden Breestro's sold for 2,000.
I'm sorry.
Braden Breestro. Ever heard of Braden Breestro?
No,
He pitched 7 MLB innings in his debut patch, sold for $2,000.
Okay.
So like these are go for a lot, even
Did
if the
Braden
guy's
buy
not. Did himself? Yeah, he probably could.
right? Like I
Could
feel
have been
like
himself.
that's definitely on the table. Like if you're a lesser known cat. All right. Are we going to be underwhelmed?
I mean, like
Yeah.
in terms of player status,
Yeah.
prospect status.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're not industry.
That's what
Yeah,
I'll say.
buffs.
This,
Like-
if people find out I have this, it changes the industry
Right.
completely.
Right. So, Joe, do you think you're going to know this person's name?
Yeah.
Okay. Jay, you probably will too.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to be blown away if it's a patch of somebody I've never heard of.
Okay.
What do you you guys want to take a guess?
I mean, my thought, because you said yo ho, was it's Jared Jones. It's not Skenes.
So it's a debut patch.
It's a debut patch.
I wish I had like a list.
You know what? I know. See, that's what I was gonna. There's a long
isn't
list
it like
of names.
10 grand to get a card like that graded? I don't know what we're looking at there.
You see that?
No, not really. Looks
I
like
see
a
it.
abstract painting of something. Okay. It's not necessarily entertaining for people that just listen, but let me make Dallas's screen bigger because
You know who that is?
And it's definitely a hitter.
You're onto it, Jay.
I
very-
nailed that part.
it's
There's
very
nothing.
pixelated. I can't even
Is
see
it
the
pixelated?
team logo on the helmet, so I don't know who
Nope.
that is. It's a white male. Suspect is a white male, appears to be
Pete Crow?
wearing. Is it Pete
Not-
Crow Armstrong?
Is it?
The helmet is either blue or black.
Is it Nolan Jones? Nolan
No.
Jones.
Nah, it doesn't matter. It's not important. Anyways, it's fine.
Who?
Who is it?
Yeah, I don't.
Is it what? Is it Wyatt Langford?
It is not Wyatt Langford.
God damn it. Is it?
I don't want to drop this fucking thing.
Yeah. Be careful.
Was it Brenton Doyle?
I can't even see what jersey that is.
Is Jose? Who? Jose Siri? Who the fuck is that?
This is taking us entirely too long.
Yeah.
Just know that it's.
There it is. There it is.
Oh! Who is it?
Woo!
I still don't know.
I still can't see.
I still can't see.
It's so pixelated.
Christopher Morel.
Is it?
I wish
No.
I could tell who that was.
Yeah,
I can't even
have
tell
no
what
idea.
team it is.
Yeah, I can't. I
Curtis-
couldn't see a logo.
Curtis
see a name.
Mead.
Curtis Mead.
This changes
The
everything.
industry will never be the same.
Yo, I know who Curtis Mead is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's one of the only Australian-born players in history.
Wow.
So for all those motherfuckers out there who were talking that shit, oh, he ain't got a patch card. He ain't got a patch card. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, this is the industry will never recover from this.
The Curtis Mead card
Hey,
has been revealed.
because what happens is the price of cards goes up when patches like that get pulled and people know the Paul Skenes card is still out there. But the minute that Paul Skenes card gets pulled, things change. People who are interested in that patch, people who might just be buying boxes for whatever random reason, they're out, right? They're done. So you're never getting their money for that product ever again. It's over. And then that's why, because you know how many people are after this Curtis Mead MLB debut patch?
At least 5.
3. Curtis, his significant other, and Curtis's mother. That's who's after this patch. And so if it's somebody different, like a Jared Jones, like a Paul, very, very different.
Are you going to
That's
message Curtis Mead on Instagram and see if he's interested in buying it from you?
You know what? I got a lot of faith in Curtis Mead, and I would love for Curtis to be able to just dip into his ashtray one day and flick me whatever changes in there and feel so good about being able to do so and securing his patch. And then who knows? Maybe one of my grandchildren has college paid for because Curtis circled back and was like, yeah, I'd like that. It's pretty cool to have next to my MVPs.
He only has 5,600 Instagram followers. So if you message him, he would see it immediately.
Yeah. Well, there's a solid chance that somebody is going to take this clip that we have here and send that to him.
Okay. Let's have a negotiate. Jake, book Curtis Mead. Let's get Curtis Mead on the podcast this week, and we'll have a live negotiation on the podcast.
Yeah, Curtis.
Bidding starts at $25.
No. It's you got to understand.
Oh,
Much
you
like
don't get to set
arbitration
it.
and much like
you don't
much
get
like
to set
contracts.
No, it's the BID auction house. So unfortunately,
Yeah.
the bidding starts at $25, and we can kind of go from there.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to tweet out that I just revealed the patch card.
Yeah, it's a good teaser. People are going to be so disappointed. I think it's
Wow. I can't wait to have Curtis on to talk about it.
well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll be sure to let Curtis know how excited you were to have him to talk about easily the most valuable piece of his memorabilia collection to date that you are just like, and whatever. I got a fucking old used yogurt nozzle over here.
And then I will tell Curtis how you made it seem like it was Paul Skenes, and then Paul Skenes' card was found. So I'm going to tell him that you're actually the asshole, not me.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Let's be honest. Curtis is the asshole here. Curtis is the asshole here. If he doesn't debut and have that patch created and put into a pack, I don't get hyped up. This is all on Curtis. This is his fault.
So then really you're blaming Curtis's parents.
Look, you're the one who I'm not.
This is, Jake, just book Curtis Mead. We'll sort this out. Get Curtis Mead on the podcast, and we'll discuss how the card industry will literally never be the same because of what just happened today.
Yeah. You thought you guys had some earth moving out there in Massachusetts this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an earthquake survivor. That's also very insensitive of you to come at me like this today when I survived an earthquake.
I mean, it was a little rumble, tiny little. Did you guys get
the whole house shook? The whole house shook. Something almost fell off the wall. I have to re-center all the pictures in my house now.
Well, I'm glad you made it out.
Thank you. Who's that Dodgers jersey? Do I already know this? The Dodgers jersey in the background, Jay?
Oh, it's Ohtani.
Oh,
it's a child youth Ohtani.
Why?
That I won in a bet with my friend Chris, and it's for my daughter when she gets old enough. And I hung it up there at some point this offseason when we were gloating about the Dodgers doing their thing. Just kind of a troll move that never changed. So it's still up there.
Got it. So when I beat Steve in the underdog Dinger Derby round 1, I won a jersey. We had a jersey bet, and I still haven't claimed that. And the last time it was either a stream that we were doing or he came over for wrestling. And every time I see him, it comes up like, what am I going to pick? And I was like, Dontrell Willis. And a listener was like, hey, messaged me and was like, hey, I got this D-Train jersey and it's very inexpensive. So I think I'm just going to buy the Dontrell Willis jersey myself because it's very affordable. And then still, I don't know what jersey to claim from Steve.
Stick him with something a little pricier.
Yeah, like it's got to be like $200.
Yeah.
Like a Mitchell and Ness, a football jersey.
Yeah, football.
Nobody knows football better than me. The best app for your big game party is on your phone, Joe. That's right.
I got my phone.
You and all your friends could be feasting on Underdog. Ride together on stats like passing yards, first touchdowns, interceptions, and so much more. If you or your friends haven't joined Underdog yet, get on there. Whoever signs up today using the promo code Jared, that's JARED, will get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Yeah, we know football here. I think I didn't pick the Chiefs. I picked the Bills. The Bills should have won. I'm just... the refs, the integrity of the game and the calls.
Taylor Swift, dude.
Taylor Swift.
Bro, it's like, get off,
Travis Kelce, only 2 receptions and 19 yards. What was that,
Tired of
Imagine that being
not every sport is baseball with great parity where we see, new teams in the World Series every year.
Yeah.
Chiefs go over number 3.
Same old thing in football, It's just
Patty Mahomes, get your damn guns up. Yeah,
but
we do know ball. And I told everybody. You want to make money first heater? Saquon. You want to make money first heater? Kareem Hunt. We told you that.
Didn't I tell you that story about how I almost had a New Year's Eve with Saquon?
Shay Sean?
Saquon Barkley. Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Sean Barkley.
Yeah, we almost spent the New Year's Eve together one year. Those years were really strange. But did anyone pick the Chiefs and the Eagles on this pod? Dallas and whom? Anybody? Obviously, Joe took the Durs. How you feeling today, Joe? You down?
Yeah, man, we should have done better, but we fumbled the ball too many times, Jared. That could really cost your team big time.
Yep. Didn't cost the Chiefs.
Did they fumble?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Butterfingers.
Yeah. Yep, they fumbled. Are you one of those guys where like your team loses, so you can't watch like the other game? You just like you're out on football after that?
No, I watched the Super Bowl. Durs didn't have much to lose, man. So it was
house money.
We're playing with house money, baby. Yep. We should have won for sure but
are you guys rooting for or against the Chiefs' pursuit of the three-peat?
Oh, I want to see the three-peat.
No.
For it. Come on.
No, Brady never had a three-peat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's like I don't really care about football anymore. I obviously cared very much when Tom Brady was there, but when he left, I stopped caring. So now I just care about protecting his legacy. Like I don't like if you're a Bulls fan growing up in the 90s, like I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to hear about like the LeBron James discourse about being the GOAT when you grew up watching Jordan. So like at no point do I want to hear any discourse about Patrick Mahomes being better than Tom Brady.
Can we do a little bit of that though? When you said you never want to hear it, but instead of never, can we do it now? Like
I think he's already better.
Oh, you're wrong.
I'm not even whether he is or he isn't. Is it going to be weird if Tom Brady's legacy of as the GOAT doesn't withstand like the first assault on it, like the first guy who comes after it? Because like if he wins this, and they are, I believe, currently favored, doesn't mean they're going to win, but they are favored. That would be 4 Super Bowls overall, including a three-peat, which would be at least one notch that Brady doesn't have, even if he's short on overall Super Bowls. And basically the entire second half of his career to go, maybe more if he plays as long as Tom Brady did. Are you worried that it feels a little closer than it should for a guy who won 7 Super Bowls and however many Super Bowl MVPs?
I'm not, even if he wins this one, I'm not yet worried just because of how so Tom Brady was the quarterback of 2 dynasties that were like a decade apart. Like that is so incredibly hard to do. So it's like the Chiefs are having their dynasty right now, but who's to say that once there's some turnover with this core that like Patrick Mahomes is enough to get to, never mind win like 3 or 4 more, you know?
No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, 7's a huge number to overcome, but like I never would have thought that Brady would have had his late career title count either. Like I think that's
the one
that he would already have 4 by age, whatever. How old's Mahomes? 29?
29.
Yeah, I think he's knocking on the door at 30. For me, the one separator, and I say this as a diehard Mahomes fan, is the fact that Brady went to Tampa Bay and won there too. And so to your point about what does the turnover look like, Brady's argument is turnover be damned. I can go to a completely different place. And I made that happen too. So if that's the case, Mahomes, great second half of the career, say he's able to put 2 more together. Now I think the conversation, albeit still 1 Super Bowl championship separating them between 6 and 7, you have the three-peat argument in your favor as Mahomes. And to counter that, you have Tom Brady saying, yeah, but did you ever just pick up shop and land in a completely different place and win it there too? Did you ever do that? Because I
kind of an awkward spot for New England fans to be in too, to basically have to be rooting for the Eagles to stop Mahomes.
That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. I think like if the Eagles were the only team,
Brady,
but if the Eagles were the only team to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, then that's one thing. But like,
yeah, I'm not saying it's like
Giants.
I'm sure the hatred toward the Giants is a little bit more intense for sure.
It's not even like I don't even hate the Giants. I just I am still shell shocked about the 18-1 season.
Yeah, bewildered.
Yeah, like that one still just doesn't register, just because of like the Brady Moss season. Like they just broke every single like they just. How do you not cap off that season? Even if it's not a perfect season, how do you not cap that off with a Super Bowl? Is crazy to me. So I don't hate the Giants. I'm just kind of like still like, whoa. Like couldn't believe it. Like going through my Facebook memories, like every day, like there's always this time of year, there's always like statuses about like the Patriots. Like I loved watching football and Tom Brady when that was a thing, but now I couldn't care less now that he's not there. Could not care less.
Fair weather fandom. It's fine.
Most important thing is that you said could not care less instead of the oft used
I could care less,
which doesn't make any sense, of course.
Yeah, could not care less. But yeah, there's definitely a bunch of people who listen to this podcast who could not care less about football. So let's take another left turn here. Joseph Jergy he belongs to you now. Finally, the match made in heaven. The Atlanta Braves, Jurgensen Profar. It's a 3-year deal, $42 million. What was your reaction when you saw the news?
I think this is arguably the best free agent signing in not the history, but I would say this could be the best free agent signing of the offseason for any team.
Go on.
Just because the price they got him and the season he just had last year, which was basically more productive than Santander, who got a lot more than him. I would say he had a better season than we got Jock Peterson. Who else? He's a better hitter than Willie Adames, who got a fuck ton more than him.
Is there any concern on your behalf that Jurickson Profar has been in the league for over a decade and had his breakout season at the age of 31? Is there any concern there?
No. Yeah, I guess there's concern. I wouldn't say that specifically concerns me, but it is pretty funny that it took him so long. I mean, he had a lot of injury. He missed 2 entire seasons of his career for injury when he was, 23, 24 and in Texas. Like and then a lot of those early seasons, he never played every day. Like if you look at the seasons where he did play every day, he had a great first season with the Padres, then got pushed to the Rockies and sucked dick because he played for the Rockies. And then he came back to the Padres and had an all-star season, a breakout season at 31. And even on those old seasons, I was looking at his baseball savant, like he's always been very good at the plate in terms of plate discipline. So even some of the underlying metrics, even in his bad seasons, looked good. And he's from Curacao. The Braves own Curacao. Like how Dodgers own Japan. We're the team of Curacao. In Curacao, we got Andrew Jones, Jair Jurgens, Ozzie, Andrelton Simmons, now Profar. What the fuck are you waving at?
I was waving at Dallas.
Okay, we got all these people from Curacao. It's like now we got kind of like a mini Dodger situation where we got an entire country on our back. And Profar is like also a clubhouse guy, and he's going to get along. And then you got Ozzie going in there. And I think that's what Anthopoulos was thinking too, because he's so massive in the clubhouse.
That is
Joe,
a good point.
Clubhouse. Let me. That's where I was going to go, Joe. I mean, is there anything to say? Is there trouble? Is there trouble in that clubhouse right now? Is Jurgensen being brought in to sort of liven things up? Is he getting stale in there? Is that what's happening? Is that what Alex Anthopoulos has started to identify? Hey, we've got some star power here, but it just feels like we can't all get on the same page, maybe, like whether that's health or production and maybe we don't have the attitude that I'd like us to have. Is that where Jergy comes into play?
No, I think Jurgensen got signed because they needed an outfielder. Acuna's not going to be ready for the start of the season. You'd rather have Profar than Kelnick out there. And Anthopoulos said that he thought that Profar was the second best bat available out of everyone other than Juan Soto. Profar was the second best hitter, second best free agent hitter this offseason was Profar.
Do we feel that way? I don't know that we need to go down this rabbit hole.
I'd say the potential is there. I mean, this is a former number 1 prospect who, he was 31, but put up an insanely dominant offensive season, and he can play defense.
Because this is the first time that we're seeing the power like that, right?
I get it. I'm right there with Joe. Like if it isn't my favorite. Is it the most impactful sign of the offseason? No, of course not. But in terms of what he said, like per dollar value fit, I'm with you. This is one of my favorite signings of the year. And in terms of sustainability, I think it's way more sustainable than most people would assume when you're talking about a career year this late into your career. Because not only was it career highs in all of the surface level stats, but it was career best numbers in terms of how hard he was hitting the ball, how infrequently he was chasing pitches out of the zone, swinging and missing in general. There's a lot of documentation and obviously just video of the fact that he added a leg kick, and that there was a meaningful change in his swing and swing path and stuff like that. And just as importantly, like Atlanta's left fielders were garbage last year in terms of what they got out of them. It was 280 WOBA and a negative 0.3 wins above replacement, which was 27th and 25th in Major League Baseball last season. And Profar was, by weighted runs created, the 6th best player in the NL last year. So there's quite a ways for him to regress, quote unquote, and be a substantial upgrade on what A, the Braves got last season, B, what they were expected to be able to get in the coming season. And I'm glad I'm looking at my notes right now. I'm glad Joey brought it up like first thing, because I first thought of the Santander deal, and I really, really like this much, much more. I think he's a better player. They're getting a similar period of time in the player's career in terms of peak and decline, and for a lot less money. So I think this was a home run deal for the Braves, and I think a lot of what Profar did year over year is very sustainable.
Yeah, he's going to get paid less than Matthew Boyd made more in the offseason. Alex Cobb made more. Charlie Morton's getting paid more. Gleyber Torres, it got a bigger contract per year. Tyler O'Neill, like all these guys. And if Jurgensen has the year he had last year, I think it's going to be hands down the best free agent signing.
He could almost that right there. If that happens, then yes. But I think what Jay Hayes' point is, I think that's what I take away from all of this is there's room for regression and for him to still be valuable based 100%. On the regression. My question though is how much are we going to regress? And if it's not 20 homers plus, is that enough? Because to your point about the Adames comparison, Adames is giving you that 20 plus pop 3-4 years in a row. You've gotten that 3 times in the career of Jurgensen Profar. And what does that regression look like? Because the bat to ball skill, the plate discipline, those are things that I get excited about. Those are things that should tell you, hey, with the adaptability he's showing at this stage in his career to implement the leg click and be comfortable enough to be disciplined enough in doing so, that's something that you note. That's something that you pay attention to. That's also something that you might be able to correlate with the power productivity. So all I concern myself with is his ability to remain consistent in that adjustment and his ability to circumvent any adjustments made to him.
Largest year over among qualified batters, largest year over year jump in Major League Baseball in hard hit rate and average exit velocity from 23 to 24. That was Profar. Like the largest. So it's not like he got marginally better. All of this stuff took a massive jump. And I think that just like the combination of the fact that he could be like 20 points worth of weighted runs created worse than he was last year and be a massive improvement over what the Braves had in-house and what they got last year, that like, you know, I think he was worth 5 or so wins above replacement last year. I saw it written that he could be worth 5 or 6 wins above replacement over the course of the entire 3-year deal. And given the amount that they're paying, that's still a good deal for the Braves. Like that's the other component here is he got, what was it, $14 million a year? Like that's a fantastic deal for Atlanta. And he fits with the team both before and after the return of some of these guys who are injured. So I'm with Joe. I think this is, you know, if I'm making a list of my favorite, just pure favorite offseason transactions, this is at or near the top.
And how confident, Jay Hay, are you in his ability to be call it a 3-win player?
I'm pretty confident in that. His defense is no plus, so that's obviously a roadblock, which is kind of funny given what he came up as a prospect, that as a corner outfielder, he's like a clear net negative. That could be its own kind of documentary. But
I always think about, because it was that time period where Elvis had just moved Michael Young.
Yeah.
And the conversation was, you think Elvis is good? They got a 15, 16-year-old kid waiting. That kid's name was Jurickson Profar.
I think the bat from last year is closer to legit than not. I think that alone is a great path to being a 2 to 3 win player a year for Atlanta. And that's a lot better than replacement level or below, which both the stats, and I think Joe's with me on this, that's what they had in house. You referenced Kelnick. I think his his opportunity has been robust enough to know that we're kind of getting what we're getting with him, and Profar is a huge upgrade on that. So I'm very bullish on that.
Well, I guess the potential is high. It's a low risk, high reward move.
Very much a Braves signing, an Anthopoulos ass signing. The guy people kind of just forgot about, and then you get him, and it's like, how'd they get him for that cheap, bro? It's like he's been there the whole offseason. I think he might have probably, I don't know, maybe he took less to be in the Braves and wanted to be a Brave.
Well,
he said he grew up a Braves fan.
Joey, so I was just getting ready to say, is there anything to the Braves? I mean, could the Braves be the second tier of what the Dodgers have created in terms of a willingness to come here? And if there's a matter of taking a little less based on what we've got cooking, based on what the window looks like?
Well, dude, it already happened. If those contracts that like every single player took before free agency, like, do you think most organizations can do that? I think a big part of that is like, yeah, we want to be in the Braves. They're going to be good for at least another decade. And, you know, they like how the clubhouse is and how the teams ran and shit.
Yep.
I know it's not this part of the season or the podcast or whatever, but I'm getting very excited to talk about the NL East, because I feel like the division as a whole is sort of flown under the radar outside of the singular pursuit of Juan Soto. And I keep looking at the top three teams, and I'm
Phillies.
Depending on which day I'm looking at them, is the day that I like one team over another. I just think the gap is. It's hard to parse with those top three teams, and some health questions and all that sort of stuff.
I want El Problema to come out and give us 185 to 200 innings. And if that's the case, but I think the Phillies are a fucking wrecking ball.
I guess we'll see.
It's definitely going to be interesting. Like I know that the Mets are going to be the sexy pick when we do the predictions and all that, but I don't know how many people are even going Mets on this podcast.
I'm not picking the Mets.
I got a lot of brotherly love coursing through my veins.
There's going to be some disparity amongst the picks. Yesterday, the Cubs were able to go out there and get a trade done for Ryan Presley of the Houston Astros. It's interesting because I believe the Cubs are going to be using him as a closer, although he lost his closer spot with the Astros. Is there anything to, year over year, call it the last 3 years, Presley's stats have not been trending in the right direction, but could a return back to the role that he's most familiar with, could that kind of send the trend back in the other way, do you believe?
You would like to think that you're inspired by responsibility, but ultimately you have to look at what the numbers are telling you with what's happening physically. And if your ability to miss bats is taking a hit, then you understand if you're being called on in the highest of leverage situations where we're locking down the last 3 outs of the ball game, I'm going to need you to be able to take on some of this responsibility, i.e. I need you to be able to punch 2 of these 3 fucking guys out. And if that's not quite there, then you have to start to figure out how you're going to get either back to that or how do you survive with what you have. So I think it's a fine line that you walk with giving the guy the confidence and instilling the trust in him and saying, you're our dude, go do what you've been able to do before. You've got a track record. We got no problem. Let's see how it goes. If that doesn't trend in the direction you want it to immediately, I think you have to address a shift immediately, because if you're not doing that, ultimately what you're doing is ignoring all of the big ticket items that are showing you that you need to pay attention to this. So if you're not going to value it immediately and you're going to bring him in and give him the responsibility, okay, that's fine. He's earned the benefit of the doubt, but you need to look at this list of things to pay attention to, because when the alarm starts to go off, these are very real things.
How old is he?
He's 36.
And his K per 9 is down 3 runs, 3 Ks the past 2 years.
Yeah, strikeout percentage has dropped year by year for the last 3 years. Or so.
And I'll say this, I just saw Rhino in Tampa. Just saw him throwing, look good. So yeah, I mean, I would love for him, and I think everybody and Chicago would love for a resurgence.
So everybody's noted the decline in his strikeout rate and whiff rate, and basically every stat, batting average, slugging, all that sort of stuff is trending in the wrong direction over the last 3 years. That's all true. I mean, but that's part of why he was available for the cost that he was, right? Like I believe the net out was a prospect that doesn't seem to be of very high value at the moment. No offense to that person personally. And I think it was $8.5 million was the cost to the Cubs over 1 year, I believe was the reporting. So, he's being acquired for roughly slightly less than the overall cost of some of these 1 year relief deals that we've seen for older semi-established relief pitchers or fully established relief pitchers. His decline is real, but like, to put a positive spin on it, which I do believe, and I'm not just doing as an exercise, two things. His decline isn't so great where he's trash and he's just somebody that we should forget about and put in the garbage. Like, he had a mid to high 3 ERA last year. His strikeout rate was 24%. It's a big drop from where it was. That's not totally useless though, right? And what the Cubs bullpen at the end of games with Neris and was no good. But what the Cubs do have is a lot of intriguing names in their bullpen that maybe aren't long on like established major league track records, but guys who I think are interesting for lots of different reasons. Porter Hodge, Nate Pearson, to name two of a couple of different people. But what they have almost none of is established long career relief pitchers who have been doing it over a long period of time. And while maybe the veteran mentorship has some value, what I do think has some value is having a guy who is a different type of pitcher coming from a different perspective and track record as the rest of the mix in your bullpen, which is why I think it's a pretty much low risk, no, medium reward type of trade for the Cubs who did need some bullpen help.
Are anyone else like kind of confused about the direction the Cubs are trying to go in?
It does feel like a
36-year-old closer, 1
like
year of Kyle
moves.
Tucker. Yeah, like 1 year of Kyle Tucker, and then like what are the other supplemental moves that are like, all right, like we're kind of like you're making moves to go almost all in on 1 year when you're not in a position to go all in on 1 year.
Yeah, because they trade Bellinger.
Right.
Well, to me, I'm trying to like train myself to think of the Cubs as a team operating in one of the central divisions and not as like the behemoth that I've traditionally thought of as the Cubs. Like, I think they're building a team within a very defined payroll structure that is built to compete and win in this NL Central, win the NL Central in 2025, and maybe be competitive in the NL Central in every year beyond that. Because I think
they're still like shopping Seiya Suzuki.
No, I think that's done now. Unless you saw a report that I think that's off the table. I think they came to an agreement that he's going to be the DH.
Okay.
But that definitely was a thing earlier this offseason. There, I mean, Suzuki came out and had the quotes or whatever it was. I'm not saying it's not confusing. I just think they're a team that's building to like win 90 games as opposed to what we want, which is build to win 95 or 100 games, which is, I agree, the way that I think the Cubs should be operating, but the threshold to win those two divisions is legitimately lower than it is in the other divisions.
Yeah. I mean, the rotation I still love. Like, I love their rotation. I'm just kind of looking at it as in regards to at the beginning of the offseason, what was out there and then what they did. I don't know. It feels like there were some all-in moves when they're not quite going all in and not in a position to go all in. But
what you'll note, and what you've basically been like circling around, is that these were moves that didn't really cost money, right? They might be all-in moves in that they pushed the stakes higher in the present and traded future value. But the Kyle Tucker move, the Ryan Presley acquisition, Matthew Boyd costs some money, but not in the scheme of their overall like payroll flexibility.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
Blake
those
Snell.
two. Yeah, right. Like
Well,
those two trades are just trades for guys who are on functionally 1-year deals for the Cubs. They haven't paid Kyle Tucker.
Well, and I was just going to say, if he is locked up, then we're having a different conversation. I don't know that you feel comfortable not that you don't feel comfortable, but I think you might still reserve asking what direction they're heading in, because signing Kyle Tucker or extending Kyle Tucker would then tell you, okay, all right, they're committed here. They're willing to spend money here, and this is where they're going. But that hasn't happened. And that's why I felt the way I do about the Red Sox with the Crochet shit. Lock him up, commit, tell me I'm pretty, and I'll listen.
And I still think that that's coming. I feel infinitely more confident about a Crochet extension with Boston than I do
Than a Bregman signing?
No, than a Kyle Tucker extension with the Cubs.
Oh.
Like, I don't think he's less than 5% chance that he doesn't go to free agency, Kyle Tucker?
Oh, yeah.
I agree with your vibe.
Yeah.
I think Crochet is much more likely.
I mean, Crochet is open about wanting that. Like, I want a home. Yes, talk to me about extension here. I'll stay here. But like, Tucker, is he a Boris guy? He is, right?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. No, he's not. Excel.
Oh.
But see, like the Crochet thing, and we don't need to get into this, him knowing that, if we're looking at the Alex Bregman situation right now, is Crochet being vocal and it being known that he's willing to sign the extension, wants to have those talks, that doesn't necessarily benefit him in this position, because Alex Bregman is sort of in a similar situation where, hey, the numbers sort of tell us that productivity is waiting for you here at our ballpark, and the deal is something that you might not be a huge fan of, but we know how important this is to you. So this is what's waiting for you if you're willing to take it. If not, oh, okay. So then when they go to Crochet, finally go to Crochet with what I got to believe is not going to be their best and final offer the first time around, Crochet might be anxious. Yeah, finally got it. All right, here we go.
Not to hard pivot, but we are talking negotiations, and the Mets had their fan fest recently, and since our last recording, and I'm sure you saw the clips of, AJ Minter, who has just signed with the Mets. He was shitting on the Yankees, saying, like, Mets fans, they just know baseball better. Like, they're real baseball fans, unlike the across the street. I found this clip though very interesting, with Steve Cohen being so open about the talks between the Mets and Pete Alonso. So as the fans were chanting, "We want Pete," Steve Cohen was like, well, I don't like how this is going. So here's the clip.
All right. All right. So guys, let's hold that for the end. Okay. We've made a significant offer to Pete. What Davis says correct. He's entitled to go out and explore his market, and that's what he's doing. Personally, this has been an exhausting conversation and negotiation. I mean, Soto was tough. This is worse. Okay, and a lot of it is, we've made a significant. I don't like the structures that are being presented back to us. I think it's highly asymmetric against us, and I feel strongly about it. And so, I will never say no. There's always the possibility. But the reality is, we're moving forward, and, we continue to bring in players. As we continue to bring in players, the reality is, it becomes harder to fit Pete into what is a very expensive, group of players that we already have. And that's where we are. And I'm being brutally honest. I don't like the negotiations. I don't like what's been presented to us. Listen, maybe that changes, and certainly, I'll always stay flexible. If it stays this way, I think we're going to have to get used to the fact that, we may have to go forward and with the existing players that we have.
Woo!
So
clap it up.
Yeah, clap it up. Move on without
bro.
Pete. It's very fascinating to hear him talk about. This is a man who is the richest owner in our sport.
21 billion, Jared.
21 billion with a B.
I think fourth or fifth richest owner in sports,
professional sports. And this dude is sitting here saying, I feel very strongly about how these negotiations have gone. And this is how we see it. This is how they see it. We're not agreeing on this. And I think and to a degree, obviously, we have seen this with especially the Juan Soto negotiations. If Steve Cohen wants a player, then there's no limit. But as it pertains to the Pete Alonso free agency, they have a number in mind they're comfortable with. And he's not just going to be like, I have $21 billion. So if you want 3 for 90, then sure, here it is. It's not that. He's not spending money just to spend money. He is tactical about it. And he's not frugal by any means, but he is certainly someone that has his limits, and not every situation is the same when he has the ability to sign any player he wants, but he's not going to just do that.
No. And when I hear him speak initially, I hear, I wasn't a big fan of Scott Boras coming out and trying to paint this as if they were doing us a favor by giving us the inside track to landing Pete Alonso. Like it was now our decision to either retain this wildly popular piece of our puzzle, or I'm going to have to be the bad guy because I'm going to move on and not jump on this one-time exclusive offer to keep the polar bear in our igloo. And that I think is something that Uncle Stevie was like, not so fast, my dude, because I see how you've laid out this one-time exclusive deal to us, and I don't like any part of it. So no, as you're trying to paint me as the guy who's about to be a bad guy, the villain for not bringing back Pete, I need the world to know that how you've offered this to me, the structure in which we would be operating under, does not benefit me. And as he said, is very asymmetrical in the favor of Scott and in the favor of the player. So if you're Uncle Stevie, who is ultimately a businessman and a businessman, he's not interested in taking a haircut in any form or fashion, especially when he's actively and aggressively trying to continue to supplement his ball club. And he said, this is an expensive room to fit into. It's a VIP room. And if we continue to wait, unfortunately, Pete might find himself on the outside of this velvet rope. And that's just because we're trying to win, and I'm trying to get players in here who fit the bill and match up. And if Pete's not going to fit into that, then I'm sorry, but we're going to have to move on. I think he answered the question beautifully.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did you see they were chanting for Pete Alonso, and then by the time he was done, they're
clapping
it up for Steve Cohen, saying, hell no, we're not getting Pete Alonso. That fat fuck is not worth it.
and side note, I saw Pete out in Tampa as well. Looked great.
Not fat, right?
No, God, no.
So I don't know why Steve Cohen would say that about his own player.
Well, I mean, the Boras, not that Boras explicitly said this, but implying that he's not going to win this particular PR war against Steve Cohen in an offseason where Steve Cohen has spent on Juan Soto, has previously spent on a massive deal for Francisco Lindor, brought back
Manaea.
Yeah, brought back Manaea, signed Holmes, signed Frankie Montas, which were, not nothing contracts. He has spent Minter, who we, mentioned offhand, he has spent to make this team better. And I just don't know that to your guys' point, he turned the room very quickly with a little dose of, or quite a large dose of honesty. I do think he answered it. Obviously he answered it well, given the reaction, but I just think, it's just, I just feel like we wondered about where the leverage was going to come from Pete Alonso, and it feels like every time we talk about him on this podcast, it's like a slow moving quicksand where there's like a little bit of leverage continues to be lost, or like, you know, like this is on some level embarrassing. Like it has to be publicly or like personally embarrassing for Pete Alonso on some level to, like, even if he didn't want it to be public like this, for him to be talked about in this way. I would have to, or the negotiations for him to be talked about in this way.
I know it's not apples to apples, but it feels like when we're talking about the Dodgers creating this destination, and then I referenced the Atlanta Braves as like that tier 2 organization that's not the Dodgers, but is absolutely creating that same sort of vibe within their organization. And we're talking about bringing players in that help that. It almost feels like Pete Alonso went from being the guy who opens the door to welcome you in to the house, is now the dude who's like first in line on the outside of the house to get in. And like that, like, fuck, man, the polar bear was the dude throwing the banger. He was the dude who was showing up, or he was the dude whose house you were showing up to. And now he doesn't throw the bangers anymore, but you know what? He's still a great dude. He's still the life of the party. He can still bring a good time, but he's on the outside now. And that just feels that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it feels to me.
I don't know how I would feel if I was Pete. I would probably, I don't know if this is a situation kind of like last offseason where we were theorizing not if, but how many guys are going to fire Scott Boras. And this offseason, a little bit different. You know, you go out there and you get the first or the most lucrative contract in the history of professional sports out here. Scott Boras did that. So it's not like he's having a dud offseason like he did last winter. But you do look at certain guys' situations, Alex Bregman being another one, and I think we've kind of beat that topic to death. I don't know that we need to have a ton of Alex Bregman discussion today, but he did well by some of his guys, and he's kind of fumbled other situations with guys. And I don't know that I'm willing to call the Bregman situation a fumble yet, because it sounds like, you know, like he has offers. He's just kind of waiting for all of them to come in.
I don't know that that's Alonso, a representation.
With Alonso, if you are making offers to the team, not the other way around, then I don't know that you're in a similar spot to other players that are sifting through, call it 5-6 year offers. So we'll see. TBD. I did want to acknowledge Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner on getting elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Congratulations to those guys. It sucks because I didn't really get to be as big of a fan of CC Sabathia as I wanted to be because he was with the Yankees all those years. But now that he's retired, I can definitely gush about him. And, you know, I got to watch him as a Cleveland Indian. That run that he had with the Brewers, I joke all the time that he should go into the Hall of Fame as a Brewer. I'm like kind of not really kidding. Especially when you like look at like those last years with the Yankees, it's like, well, if you could encapsulate the dominance and what CC was all about, like as a competitor and a guy that would do anything for his teammates.
Give me the stretch.
That half season run with the Brewers is a microcosm of his career and his spirit. And then obviously he gets the ring in 2009 with New York. And I think it was just very poetic that he quite literally fired his last bullet and that was it. You know, like a player like that who, and again, with that Brewers thing, what needs to be emphasized is how many players would do that for a team before free agency, knowing that team is not going to meet my asking price. I also don't want to be here. Like CC wanted to be on the West Coast and certainly not in Milwaukee. He got traded there and made the best of it and carried them to the playoffs because that's his job. That's what I'm like, you're signing the checks. This is my job and I'll pitch on 3 days rest and I'll get you guys to the postseason. And he did that. But he did that for teammates that he shared a clubhouse with for a few weeks, did not really know these individuals, for a team that it was his walk year. I'm not going to play here. I want to be on the West Coast. And I mean, the Yankees came in and kind of forced him to be a Yankee, and he obviously grew to love it. But yeah, that Brewers run is what CC was all about. And then his career ultimately ending when it's like, I got nothing left. I gave this game everything I've got, and I went out on my shield and 3,000 strikeouts. See you in Cooperstown, first ballot Hall of Famer. So I was very excited for CC. Ichiro, we've gushed about before. There's nothing we haven't already said about him. Billy Wagner, I think it was Jay Hay that made the point that I completely agree with, that if Billy Wagner doesn't get in, then it would have muddied the waters on relievers in the future getting in. Like if Wagner doesn't belong, then where do we fall on guys like Kenley and Kimbrel and all that? Like Wagner had to get in for that next wave of reliever to be able to get acknowledged in Cooperstown. And I'm not saying that, those guys should be first ballot Hall of Famers. I think they should have to sweat it out if Wagner had to sweat it out. But yeah, that was an important induction. Also stealing the show on election day. The bulge in Wagner's pants was incredible. I don't know if you guys saw that when he was answering the call, but it looked like he had a stuffed animal down there.
I mean, how do you not get hard when you're being told that you're going to the Hall of Fame? And yeah. I'm not telling you that Wags was stimulated. I mean, that's what you call a country hard fastball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shocked to learn, because by the way, I think it was MLB Network kind of did him dirty. They were like, CC Sabathia, the burly lefty from California. But then they got to Billy Wagner. And they're like, the Ichiro Suzuki, the legend from Japan. And then they're like, Billy Wagner, the 5'9" lefty. And I was like, what? Why throw that out there? I mean, he was on the Red Sox. I mean, I've obviously watched Billy Wagner pitch a decent amount of his entire career. And he carries himself taller. He looks taller. No, I don't look at Billy Wagner tape and be like, look at that little guy just humping 100 up there.
I always just think, I tweeted it out, and Justin Steele actually was like blown away. He's like, hold on, what? I never heard that. I didn't know this. I was like, yeah, Billy Wagner, shout out to a guy who broke his dominant arm twice and was like, you know what? I should probably learn to throw with the other hand. Mm-hmm. And then just went to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like just go to and Justin Steele was like, hold on, is that real? Oh yeah, that's real. That's real.
I don't know if I was more shocked to learn Billy Wagner was 5'9" or when I learned that Eminem was 5'8". It's always the guys that carry themselves like they're 6'3", Like I didn't think Eminem was 6'3", but I definitely didn't think he was 5'8". Yeah.
About the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. You got a thought?
Yeah. I think CC's induction is important. Obviously, it's very important for himself. I think it's also going to be statistically important for starting pitchers moving forward, because I've already seen his WAR total cited as reasons why X number of pitchers should also be given more serious consideration for the Hall of Fame. And in my estimation, almost every single one of those people should get more serious consideration for the Hall of Fame. So I think it's going to be used in a good way. And not that this has nothing to do with CC, absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And for Wagner, I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to bring it up again. He is a definitively better relief pitcher than any of the people that you could cite right now in terms of Kimbrel, Jansen, etc. So yeah, if we're accepting those guys as done deals in terms of getting into Cooperstown, which I guess we'll see, then Wagner, I agree, has to get in. I just wanted to call out a few vote totals of guys who didn't get in that I just thought were interesting quickly. Carlos Beltran got up to 70.3% in his third year, so that basically guarantees election probably next year, almost certainly next year, which is cool. I think he deserves to be in. Andrew Jones got up to 66% in year 8, so he's going to get tantalizingly close. King Felix got 20% in year 1, so it's going to be a long hike for him. And then I just wanted to call out the people who we won't be talking about on the Hall of Fame ballot anymore. Ian Kinsler, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Troy Tulowitzki, Granderson, Adam Jones, Carlos Gonzalez, Hanley, Fernando Rodney, and Ben Zobrist all received less than 5% of the vote.
Pedroia, 11 and change. 11.
We get-
almost 12%.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do better to get the word out next year.
I think we'll get there when it's 2034. We'll be having that Pedroia party.
Okay.
The BID Pedroia party.
Make sure I get that invite as one of the first dudes in.
Yeah, I think we could probably make that happen.
Tough to see
None
Kinsler
of these other
go.
clowns.
Tough to see Kinsler go.
I mean, he
fell off?
deserved more of a conversation. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
I just
He
said
definitely deserved
Kinsler.
it more. If Pedroia is on with 12, then Kinsler should still be on at least.
Yes.
Scott the Hall, very good. Dallas.
I mean, well, like what's happening with the Pedroia conversation is we are all romantically giving him a high level of production in the years that he had taken away from him because of the Machado slide. And I have no problem with that. I'm okay with that because I love Petey. But that doesn't mean that we just ignore Ian Kinsler. That's because, like, I mean, statistically, the conversation they're comparable, but for Petey to be where he's at and Kinsler to be going home is not right.
If I were him, I would look at that and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, absolutely. What in the actual fuck, man?
Yeah,
Like, really? Home? Like, you're not even fucking can't even come back next year for consideration?
yeah,
Thanks for coming.
yeah, yeah. I don't agree with that. By the way, Kinsler wasn't on my ballot, but I did feel like a hypocrite for having Pedroia on, but not Kinsler
No.
or Chase Utley, who I would vote for. Like I would vote for Chase Utley. I just didn't have enough spots.
And you know what? Like, and I said this last year. I said it again this year. And I do want to thank some of the writers who reached out and were like, "Hey, we appreciate you talking about, making this public because there's a lot of us who firmly believe and have voted to have our votes made public so that we all don't kind of get lumped in with some dude who has checked out for God knows how long and decides to screw somebody's ballot up." But I have genuinely taken a different perspective, and I appreciate the exercise for people who value it, for folks like a Tim Kirkjian, who I know he's like he's like Santa Claus and like the elves. As soon as that last present gets dropped down that last chimney, they're back at the North Pole banging away on next year's Christmas list. And as soon as the Hall of Fame ballot and the research is done, he's on to the next one. Like, they care. So the mechanics in keeping guys on a ballot and just casting a vote in that regard so that they stay alive. And there's a lot more than just voting for who you think are the 10 best players, I think, when you really start to peel it back.
Okay. All right, it is time. It is the 1991 MLB Re-Draft. We did 92 last time. Now we're doing 91. And of course, the first time that I pick above last, I get the second pick. And there's quite literally one player of note that's like far and away, like Hall of Fame, definitely want this guy. And then the second pick, there's just tremendous fall off after that. So really me not picking last doesn't matter this time. The draft order for the 1991 MLB Re-Draft, Dallas Braden picking first. I'm picking second. Joey is picking third. And Jay Hay is picking last.
I got to be honest, I completely forgot that we had shifted to Mondays again.
To accommodate Joseph.
Yes.
So you
Sorry,
that's what we do.
Dallas.
That's what we do. No, Joe, we
My
love you.
bad, dude.
We love you. We love you.
I'll just
but-
leave.
I mean, I guess I'll get it going here.
Yeah.
I'm going to
sure.
take a well-known, well-loved, the heartbeat of the Boston Red Sox for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
None other than No, Jared, I would never know. Come on. Yeah, give me my former teammate.
Your
Manny.
former Prayer study partner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I draft Manny and his preacher? So that Manny's preacher will also be my bonus Joe 5th pick. So Manny Ramirez, number 1.
Manny Ramirez,
Damn.
number 1.
Good pick, considering
pick.
you didn't even get to prepare all week.
Yeah.
And you still picked.
Still landed
Probably-
on Manny, Joe.
I think that was a good pick.
That was a good
I'm happy
pick.
about it.
Nomar Garciaparra is a Havens in this draft, which I had someone reach out. I will explain again. A Havens, because the rule is the player has to sign the year that they were drafted in this draft to be eligible to be picked by us. And Hay would routinely break that rule and try and, like, I can't take Nomar because he was drafted by the Brewers, but he didn't sign. So he's not eligible for this draft. That's what a Havens is. People were confused. And I was like, well, you got to listen to all the drafts to understand that. Wow. You know, I think I'm going to pick a Twitter follower of mine.
Look at you. Hey,
Yeah.
This is a dude who he's on my all uni team. Me and Brett Anderson came up with an all uniform team back in the day. Mike Cameron was my number 1 player.
How do you know that I'm talking about Mike Cameron? You think no one else in this draft follows me on Twitter?
No,
Because you'd be wrong. You'd be
I
wrong.
didn't say that.
You did say that.
Or no, I didn't. I didn't say that nobody else follows you. You asked
Okay.
me if I.
Well,
No.
I mean, to just jump into Mike Cameron being the pick, like, what if I wanted to pick? Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say his name, but I know he follows me. There's a few people on here. There's a couple of Havens that follow me.
No, I probably just gave you a pick, is what I did. Probably just Jay.
No, you didn't. My pick is Mike Cameron.
Oh,
Mike Cameron.
I didn't see that coming.
Yep. Red Sox legend Mike Cameron.
How'd you settle on that?
Mm-hmm. Joseph?
Oh, is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
You got a couple directions I could go here, but I guess I'll just keep it pretty easy going now. Pretty simple. I'm going to go Sean Green.
Sean Green.
Jinx, you both owe me a soda, and you owe me your first round draft picks, both of you. So
Wow,
I now,
both of you.
yeah, now I get Dallas's pick and Jared's pick, and one of them, they get to decide through arbitration who gets my pick.
Wow.
Joe, you need to settle the fuck down.
So make sure that's on the board when we get put it into Discord that I got.
Yeah, that
Manny
sounds like
Ramirez.
something we'd put on the board for sure.
Who's ever doing that?
Is it my pick?
It's your pick. Jay bringing, like a proctologist, Jay bringing up the rear.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty excited about my pick. Really, I mean, if we're talking value, you know, which I always like to talk about, not really sure how I'm going to be able to nab these two guys, but I'm going to have one hell of a front of a rotation.
Oh,
Because-
damn you.
Because I'm taking
Don't you do it.
two righties.
God damn you.
Yep. I'm not going to take your boy. Well, maybe he's your boy. I'm not going to take the guy with 18 Tommy Johns. I am going to let me make sure these are the two.
Why would you not? What are you talking about?
Wait, seriously? Oh, there's some I'm taking starting pitching, man. There's like 3. Are you guys overlooking the quality of starting pitching in this draft?
Nobody is.
Nobody did that, Jay.
Because you're getting ready to
Nobody
take.
did that, Jay.
You're accusing people on the podcast of doing stuff.
I'm going to take Jason Schmidt,
Mhm.
and I'm going to take Brad Radke.
Wow.
What about the?
Wow.
Wait, you forgot about? Wait,
What?
Hey, Joey.
it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about shit.
You forgot about.
No, it's not. Oh, it is Joey's turn.
You forgot about Derek Lowe.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, dude. You should have.
No, I said there were 3 guys. He's the worst of those 3.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I know you forgot, because I know you're joking around when you say that.
No.
You mistakenly forgot Derek Lowe is on the board, and now he falls to me,
Sounds
who
like a
has
guy-
an overpowered team already and can't lose.
Need to put some spec on Brad Radke's career.
Nothing but respect for Brad Radke, but he couldn't. When it comes to Derek Lowe talk, Brad Radke does not enter the conversation.
Well,
No, he passes him.
so you're taking D'Lo?
I'm taking D-Lo.
Took him right off my board.
My bad. I am open to trades, so keep
I
that
know
in
you
mind.
are. So keep that in mind. Do we take ESPN baseball analyst Doug Glanville?
Yes.
Oh, I already know where I'm going with the rest of this fucking thing. I already know. I already got Eduardo Perez is part of this draft.
Hey, with the table talk.
I'm just saying he's out there.
Good Lord.
Glanville, Eduardo Perez.
Can you just make a selection?
Booney is a Havens. We pretty much have the whole ESPN panel
Yeah.
in this.
I think Carl Ravitch was in this draft too.
Yeah. Carl Ravitch. Yep. Got taken by the Expos that year. I think I already got the rest of my draft figured out. Because I'm taking Uncle Cliffy, Cliff
My
Floyd.
God.
Yeah, good
Damn
pick.
Cliff Floyd, baby.
Unbelievable.
Good value.
Oh.
Yep.
Good value.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
Is it?
I don't get it, but yeah, good pick.
Thank you.
Man.
Dallas.
I'm just
Steve McNair got drafted in this draft, but he would be a Havens too.
Mm.
Dude, I'm about to hit this next pick so hard. It's gonna be great. Wait, who just went?
it's on
I
me
was
and I
right.
got 2 picks. Yeah. Pretty easy.
Who are you taking?
I'm taking former teammate and he of one of the absolute most epic players only meeting speeches
Oh man.
that I watched bring an authoritative grown man to tears. Give me none other than Captain Mike Sweeney.
Mike Sweeney.
Captain Mike
Of the-
Sweeney.
of
Just
the
an
Royals.
absolute grinder, a beautiful human being, incredible human being, all-time teammate, an all-time teammate.
Wow.
Just a wonderful man, lovely man.
He was
And-
part of the conversation that got our boy fired, wasn't he?
Yeah. That was a tag
That
team
may or
effort.
may not be the speech I'm referencing, young Joseph.
Mhm.
It's terrible for Guerin. That's a terrible pick for Bob Guerin.
Mhm.
I hope everyone in the Reddit knows, the Discord, that this guy is picking the fucking guy who got Bob Guerin fired.
And to cap off or my third pick, you got to stay strong up the middle. And in this draft, there's an individual who represented doing just that. I'm talking all-star Gold Glove winner Mark Grzelcyk.
Mark Grzelcyk.
Oh, a little bit of a reach on Gruds, I think.
No, come on,
I agree.
Jay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Reach on Gruds?
Yeah.
A
reach?
No.
Yeah.
Dallas
No,
is just
no, no,
going
no.
heavy on the Royals legends.
Yeah, he's just trying to butter up some old I think some people paid to get selected on this draft.
Yeah.
No, that was just the best possible 2 picks I could have made.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You would think that, but then it comes to me. And my pick is, in
You don't-
fact, Pokey Reese. Yes.
Oh.
Yep. Pokey Reese. I actually have a Pokey Reese batting practice jersey. Like, I love Pokey Reese. Yeah, the Pokey Reese holds a special place in my heart.
I'm in a great spot here.
Well,
So is it my turn now?
Yep.
And I got just one pick, correct?
Yep.
mhm.
That changes everything. Okay. Well, I know it's a singular pick. Ooh. Let me go. This is. It's gotta be Hatterberg. It's gotta be It's gotta be Hatterberg.
Fuck!
No, it's gotta be Hatterberg.
No, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's somebody else
Scott
out there for
Hatterberg.
you.
Come on.
It's
Come
Scott
on.
Hatterberg.
no,
The Red Sox.
no,
Red Sox picked him up.
This
No.
would have been my favorite team ever if
Why don't you
Hatterberg.
guys work out a little deal, man?
I could.
No, there's
trade
no.
him.
I mean, maybe, yeah, because now Joe has two guys that I want. There,
Yes.
I could see a trade happening. Like, do we have to wait for the draft to be over to make a trade?
No, we had the mid-draft trade last time, didn't we?
I pulled off a pretty good trade mid draft. I thought so.
Yeah, the
but
people didn't like it, but you did.
No. No, the people did not like it. I got last damn place.
Who do you want for Hatterberg?
That depends. Who do you have? Because I don't remember who you picked.
Mike Cameron, Cliff Floyd, Pokey Reese.
Yeah, I'll trade Mike Cameron.
For
Sure.
Scott Hatterberg?
Oh yeah.
That's
One
steep.
for one.
That is steep.
That is a steep price to pay, but I might be willing to pay it. Let me see. Can we revisit the conversation after we make our fourth picks? Because I want to know, like, we might even be able to do a two for two.
Okay, but I will say, Dallas is. I'm on the phone with Dallas, and he's thinking about giving me Manny. So
Oh,
It's been shopped.
all right.
you know,
Well,
so just
if-
know if you could wait a little bit, but it could, just warning you.
okay.
You don't pull the trigger, someone else might.
I hate that the picks like that are now getting picked because those are my picks. Scott Hatterberg was, I mean, he had intent to sign and everything.
I mean, Joe,
Are you going to make an offer for Hatterberg right now, Dallas?
no, I might be looking at Sean Green and Derek Lowe though.
Oh,
For Manny, that would be a really good trade. Really good.
Quite possibly.
Really good.
so what happens if you trade two players for one?
That means that I just get
Joe's
an extra pick at the end.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So-
Joe doesn't get another pick.
Oh, I don't. Dallas does.
No, I do. That would be mine.
So you would trade, you would get to pick after J-Hay.
Yeah. And then my pick again.
All right, well, J-Hay, make your pick.
I get double picks.
Yeah.
So this is the end of my draft, actually.
Mhm.
Don't think I have really much of a chance of winning this draft. So I'm going to go with.
is it hard to win when you're fourth, J-Hay?
No, I mean it's hard. It's hard to win when the. It's hard to win when the guy, whose
I'm
face is
sorry.
plastered all over the
I'm
promos,
sorry.
turns
sorry,
Discord
Jay.
against you.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Mr.
sorry.
Daddy Warbucks over here saying, no, you
very
can't do
sorry.
this.
Very sorry for you. Oh, last pick.
I'm going to take two arms that were just about as promising as arms can be. And they got sidetracked for various reasons. One was able to carve out a nice major league career. The other one, not so much. But I am going to take. Make sure I'm not going to Havens myself here. Nope. Okay. I'm not. I thought Dallas would have taken this guy, but that's what made me pause.
Don't you fucking dare. If you
I'm
do
going
that
to
to me
take
right
Jason Isringhausen,
Oh, okay.
Is he what? I mean,
part of old part of Generation K. I could go for a second member of Generation K and take Bill Pulsifer.
Who?
Bill
Not-
Pulsifer.
I'm not going to take Bill Pulsifer though.
Who are you
I'm going to take the first overall pick of the 1991 MLB draft, and I am respectfully keeping him out of that bar fight. Brian Taylor is my pick. The man
Wow.
is never breaking his hand. And the highly touted prospect is delivering the career that so many Yankee fans thought that he would. Brian Taylor is my last pick.
Jay just throwing a lifeline now out
that's
there
right.
to Discord.
That's just a Hail Mary pass. That is Brian Taylor, 187 strikeouts in 161 innings back in 1992, folks. As a 20-year-old at high A. He had everything going for him. Let's pretend. Hey, that was his first exposure to the big to pro ball. Okay. Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, he never made it to the big leagues, but you know what? That's because he broke his hand. Think about what could have been. Randy Johnson. That's what a lot of people call him.
Jay, if that's the case, I can't wait till we get to the 05 draft because you need to select or to the 04 draft because you can take me for what I did in 05 in high A Stockton. All right.
Well, you know what? I'm not sure anybody's ever had a draft with a rotation of Jason Schmidt, Brad Radke, Jason Isringhausen, and Brian Taylor. So
no
4 arms. No. Fuck with it, dude. Wow. My draft's over.
Yeah, it is. You're up, Jared. You wheeling and dealing?
He's got a pivot because Brian Taylor was next on his board.
I've got
you wheeling and dealing. I'm getting my guy, which I'm fucking pumped about. I'm getting my guy.
I've got 2 guys on my board right now. I'm just gonna tell you who they are. I'll tell you who one of them is.
I'm not even gonna react because if one of them's mine, it's not gonna be mine, but you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't take him in spite. So.
Wait, isn't it Joey's pick? It's Joey's pick.
Oh, it's Joe's pick?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
Good thing I didn't say anything.
Oh shit.
So it's my last pick. Or
who's left?
It's your last pick.
Okay. Now, since it's my last pick, I gotta know if anyone still wants to trade.
I mean, we can still trade after the draft's over.
All right, I'm just checking in.
None of my guys are available. No, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you're not moving on Isringhausen?
No, I'm not. No.
Jeez.
Think about what his career would have been with only 2 Tommy Johns.
I think with my last pick, it's gonna come down to the meat stick.
The meat hook.
It could be the meat hook.
The meat stick.
Meat stick.
Give me the meat stick.
It's not that much. I mean, listen,
no, it's not that
those
far away.
nicknames
It's
are
just
the
funny.
meat stick. Or I could go with Mr. LaTroy.
He's also on my board.
I could go with LaTroy, or I could go. Man, I could go with Eduardo Perez. I think that could shake some things up. But when it's all said and done, I'm going with LaTroy Hawkins.
It's a good pick. I like that pick a lot.
Motherfucker, Joe.
As my last pick. And if anyone wants to do a trade, I'm all yours.
So right now, I mean, LaTroy Hawkins, I was between LaTroy Hawkins, Eduardo Perez, and Darren Bragg. Don't make that face, Jay. Darren Bragg was a legend here. People don't talk about the legacy of Darren Bragg enough, if we're being honest.
I think they talk about it just the right amount.
If anybody's talking about that, we call that gravy. Yeah.
Don't forget, you could also get Scott Hatterberg or Sean Green or Derek Lowe
or Doug Glanville
or LaTroy Hawkins
or Aaron Seeley.
If I draft Eduardo Perez, what deal gets this done, Joe?
For Hatterberg?
Yeah.
I'm looking at Mike Cameron.
Straight up.
I think that would be a good good trade for both of us.
If I do Mike Cameron for Hatterberg, straight up.
Hatterberg's
what are we doing?
Everybody loves Hatterberg, dude. That's the guy who really like moves the needle in a draft like this.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Moneyball?
Hey,
Scott
I know that
Hatterberg.
Hatterberg makes things that are very, very difficult look incredibly easy.
Yeah, Scott Hatterberg should have been played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson in Moneyball. He was him. Mike Cameron also 4 homers in a game.
Mm-hmm. With Sean Green.
Yeah.
Sean Green was there when I made history at Family Feud. He was on the team.
Mm. I can't give you Cliff Floyd for Hatterberg.
No, unfortunately that's not going to get it done. I love Cliff Floyd though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put that on the record.
Would you do Cliff Floyd for Derek Lowe?
Cliff Floyd for Derek Lowe. I don't think that really adds much to the squad at this point.
What if I did Cliff Floyd and Mike Cameron for Scott Hatterberg and Derek Lowe?
I would do.
That's the ticket, Joe.
I would do. You're going to give me Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd.
Yep.
But I got to give you Derek Lowe and Scott Hatterberg.
Hatterberg.
That's tough because I know how valuable Scott Hatterberg and Derek Lowe are, especially to the voters.
Yeah.
It's like I'm willing to give up one, but both. It's going to be hard to.
But you're getting
squeeze
Mike
that one.
Cameron and Cliff Floyd.
Both great players.
I mean, Mike Cameron easily better than every player on your team.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
Well, you'd be wrong. Mike Cameron is statistically better than every player on your team.
Well, there's a reason why you want to give him up, and there's a reason why you need
because
Hatterberg.
I really like Scott Hatterberg.
But so does Dallas.
Yeah, but Dallas has a trash team.
He's got Manny Ramirez.
He's not going to trade you Manny. He's not going to trade you Manny,
I'd
and you don't want
Brian Taylor.
I'll decline that for now, Jay, but I appreciate the offer.
All right, no problem.
I really want to give you Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd for Derek Lowe and Scott Hatterberg.
All right, yeah.
Joe, I can offer you Mike Sweeney and Grzelcyk for Sean Green.
Okay, you say that one more time.
I can give you Mike Sweeney and Grzelcyk for Sean Green.
Ooh, that's going to be tough.
Grzelcyk's he's like a contract that you're trying to offload
Yeah.
with Mike Sweeney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have room on the squad right now.
He's like a top.
Well, you can free
7
him up.
most valuable player in this.
Focus on this offer, Joe.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd for Scott Hatterberg and Derek Lowe is a great deal for you.
Yeah, I like the original plan, which was Mike Cameron for Hattie.
Yeah, then we shifted to Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd for Derek Lowe and Scott Hatterberg, which is a great deal for you.
It's actually not that good of a deal for me. I think it's going to be bad for me. That's why I'm hesitant.
10, 9.
But if you complete the Hatterberg trade, I mean, Hatterberg's yours. We just need Cameron. And
yeah.
Who's willing to make that move?
Huh?
Who's willing to buy in right now? Doesn't feel like either one of you are convicted in what you really believe. Someone show me your nutsack right now.
I put the deal on the table.
Show me your nuts. Show me your nuts.
They're on the
that
table.
deal-
Look at the table. You'll see them. Nuts on the table move.
Joe, you gobbling up those nuts?
No, that deal is not going to work. I mean, I just think Hatterberg for Mike Cameron's to play. That's the deal. That's
I'm
on
sure
the
you
table.
do
And
think that.
If it's taken, it's taken. If it's not taken, then we got to go. We got to start the season with the rosters we got, and we'll have to play from there. At that point, it's in God's hands.
It's God's plan.
I'm taking Eduardo Perez with my last pick. And for the last time, I'm offering Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd for Derek Lowe and Scott Hatterberg. Take it or leave it.
It ain't happening, bro.
We tried. So close yet so far. That's
tough.
what they call like the 11th hour. It's got like a hint of Carlos Correa almost, right? Like I feel like all those guys were in a suit ready to roll, but then
But if I throw in LaTroy Hopkins with Hatterberg and you give me Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd, then we're talking. Then we're talking a deal.
Cameron,
former teammate of yours, Jared.
Yep. LaTroy Hawkins, former teammate of mine. Yep.
That's the deal.
Mike Cameron and Cliff Floyd for LaTroy Hawkins and Scott Hatterberg. So you want my first and second pick for your third and fourth pick?
No, that was my second and third pick.
Nope.
Yes, sir.
Nope.
I believe so.
It wasn't. I've got it right here. Honestly, the more I think of it, the more I love my team as is. I'd love to have Hatterberg. I'd love to have him here. You know, the one guy that I would not trade is the one guy that you haven't asked for in a deal, Pokey Reese. Like, he's not going anywhere. I knew I could get him in the third round, which is why we took him there. But would I have taken him in the first round? Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's how I feel about Taylor.
Yeah, but now it's like you're in a position where it's like, could have had Hatterberg, and then you don't.
I could have had Hatterberg for Mike Cameron. Would you still do Cameron for Hatterberg straight up?
I would. I'd accept that.
I feel like Hatterberg just makes this the best team I've ever had. I feel like this is my only shot to win a draft if I get Hatterberg.
You're putting a lot of money in a fist pump right now. You're putting a lot of money in a fist pump.
Hatterberg has. I think Hatterberg goes a long way. I think a lot of people are underestimating how fucking much Hatterberg can skew the fucking voting.
I think the people that are listening and the people that are voting are thinking to themselves, whoever gets Hatterberg wins. And we have a trade partner who I've worked with in the past.
Listening to you guys try to manipulate the voting system. It is just disgusting.
You know what, Joe? You know what, Joe? Mike Cameron for Scott Hatterberg, done deal.
We got a deal.
Done deal. Done deal.
Wow.
Done deal.
Great trade.
A 15-minute battle.
Yeah, that was really good.
Scott Hatterberg.
Ballsy trade.
I mean, you
Ballsy trade.
You gotta be able to be flexible. You gotta be able to get like, that's the thing. Get uncomfortable. That's what it takes sometimes. I love my team.
To overlook the chasm of production and
Scott Hatterberg, Cliff Floyd, Pokey Reese, and Eduardo Perez. That's the best team I've ever had.
Yikes.
I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish my draft off by selecting my dude, Woody.
You're gonna finish off your dude,
Kirk Reeder.
Who?
Kirk Reeder.
Woody.
The soft toss and
what do you mean who?
Yep,
we got Woody.
Fucking Woody, baby. Kirk Reeder. Look it up and drink
gonna
it
have
up.
to. Yeah.
The Giants.
That's right.
He was an Expos pick.
He was an Expos pick.
Yeah. He was drafted 477th overall in the 18th round of the 1991 MLB draft. All right. So Team Dallas is Manny Ramirez, Mike Sweeney, Mark Gruzelanek, and Kirk Reeder. Kirk Reeder. The best team in the draft, my team.
Why are you reading my
Scott Hatterberg, Cliff Floyd, Pokey Reese, Eduardo Perez. That is the best team in the draft. Joey's team.
None of those. All of their war total doesn't even equal Manny.
Joey's team. acquired in a trade Mike Cameron, Sean Green, Derek Lowe, and LaTroy Hawkins. Jay Hayes' team, Brad Radke.
Generation K.
Kind of crazy that he was still around at the 4th pick.
46 WAR.
Yeah. Yeah. Brad Radke, Jason Schmidt, Jason Isringhausen, and Brian Taylor. Who could forget?
Right. That's right.
Wow.
That is a lot of heat.
Wow.
And a lot of craft from Brad.
I can't believe we got Hatterberg at the wire like that, Jake. That was... Whew.
You think you're going to win?
Yes.
I think I'm going to win.
Have you won a draft yet?
Have you won a draft yet?
No, I mean, that would lead me to believe the answer is no.
Yeah, the answer is no. I mean,
Well,
I am absolutely smashing the competition when it comes to overall total team lore.
I finished in second last draft, I think.
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
I think Dallas has left himself a little vulnerable here. I think in a Manny Ramirez draft, Dallas is a little vulnerable here on the back end.
Yep.
He left a little window.
I mean, the amount of production is inarguable. Like, you just can't.
I know. This
is my favorite draft I've ever had.
That's why I look at this value and I look at this. I look at the totality.
You think
like
Manny's PED usage will be held against him?
Probably. No, not at all. Not with this group. Everybody's here about the performance on the field. Like, how that happens, they don't care. They're here to be entertained.
Do you think people are going to talk about how Jason Isringhausen came back from 4 Tommy Johns?
No.
I think people are going to talk about how Manny kind of like lost his dreads, but then like they came back magically. And men, if you've lost your hair, it doesn't mean you can't find it again. Try Hims Hair Loss Solutions and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who found their hair again. Hims provides you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized chewable oral spray and serum treatments to find what works, what's best for you. The process is simple and 100% online, and there are no uncomfortable doctor visits. Answer a few questions, and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can get you your confidence back with visibly thicker and fuller hair. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/BID. That is HIMS.com/BID for your personalized hair loss treatment options. HIMS.com/BID. This is far and away the best that I've felt coming out of a draft ever.
Me too, bro, because guess what? I got the second best WAR player, third, fourth best WAR player, and fourth best WAR player, I think. How about that?
I don't care.
I won last time, and we didn't even talk about that yet because the results are in, and I got first motherfucking place for the first time ever. And I'm just proud of myself, and I'm proud of the voters, and happy that they saw what I saw in that team. But Bobby Bonds was a risk.
The next draft that we're doing. Well, let me FaceTime Dallas first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pressure on Jared to get that first chip.
Yeah, no, I'm winning this one.
Everybody else has got a championship.
No, this is the one I'm going to win, I think. I'm not even worried. This is going to be the dub for me.
You know, you're not talking like somebody who's not worried, though.
Why can't I see you, Dallas?
I don't know.
There you are. All right, you ready? This is the year. 2008. Have we done that?
2008 is the redraft year. We have not done 2008. I can't see words. I can't see. There we go. Justin, Joey.
Yeah, wait. We did.
We did?
Didn't we do this is the Buster Posey draft? Didn't we do this?
Yeah.
Garrett Cole. Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. We did.
Where's our list? We need.
Yeah, I think
2021.
That's going to be a new challenge.
Yeah, we definitely did 2008.
All right. 2021 is the year.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's tough, huh?
That is
Here's
tough.
the draft order.
Oh, you know who's not going number? Oh, it's not going to be Henry Davis. That's for damn sure.
No.
No, all due respect to Henry.
All right. We ready?
This is fun.
Yeah.
I like this idea now. Okay. Yeah. What's the order?
Joey, Jared, Justin,
God
and
damn it.
Dallas. My luck has
That's
changed.
fine. Dude, if you're going to get the fucking fourth pick in a draft, might as well be the one that's still not. I mean,
Yeah,
what is,
I mean,
what has this produced so far?
Yeah.
that's why it's going to be
Oh.
tough.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry Davis, Jack Leiter, Jackson Jobe were the first three picks. But it'll be fun. I mean, it's a lot of potential. It's a different kind of draft.
Yeah. Again, that is the 2021 MLB draft. First pick, Joseph. Second pick, me again. Jay Hay going third. Dallas dead last.
Can I, while we're picking stuff, do we need to pick, since we're recording, we didn't record a second podcast last week. Do we need to record or pick hindsight for this week on this pod? For later this week?
Well, wouldn't you have prepared one for the episode that we didn't do? So then you would do it on Wednesday and then get a new year?
I've forgotten what year that was. Maybe I've got it somewhere. Yeah, so you're saying the last Thursday we would have already done the year, right?
Yeah. So then you would have had your assignment. And then we would have given it you a new year after
Oh yeah, that's
you
true.
complete it. Yeah.
Good call. I'll figure it out.
You got this.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, no doubt.
Dallas, any final thoughts today?
I will just remind folks, continue to tease the behind the scenes effort of what we are putting together. We told you that we spent some time out in Tampa, spent some time out in Pittsburgh. That was with Sean Mania, Mason Miller. We've got a couple other guests that I'll hold off on dropping their names. Let me just tell you, if you're into top tier studs, especially on the mound, buddy, have we got you covered. So the Slab Lab up and running in full effect. Stay tuned.
Joseph, any final thoughts today?
Oh yeah, I did have a final thought. I just want to congratulate fucking Mike Trout. Third Super Bowl appearance
Oh, yeah.
for Mike Trout, you know. People give him a lot of shit. You signed your life away to the Angels and your career sucks. 3 fucking Super Bowl appearances. What do you got to say now, haters? He's right where he wants to be.
Speak on it. Speak on that shit. Jay Hay, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just a tough scene for the Pirates. You know what I mean? In an offseason that hasn't featured many successes in terms of acquisitions and impact moves, it's just tough for them to, you know, have their bid for a card from an 11-year-old also get rejected. So just a really tough sequence for them. And, you know, at least Paul Skenes is talking long-term contract extensions in the sense that there have been no discussions. So
Yeah. The discussion is that that's not been discussed.
Yep. Then it's not going to happen. No, just, you know, just
And
lower it.
but that's for another discussion. So that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they won't have.
Yeah, probably not.
Offer rejected for the card
We're not.
from an 11-year-old.
Jake's takes?
I think we'll all remember where we were for the great Atterberg Cameron trade of 2025.
Really good.
Yep.
Just really happy I was here to witness it.
Yeah.
That
I'm glad
whole
we got
thing
it
should
done.
be clipped
Joe.
off for YouTube.
Yeah,
in
I'm
a day
glad. I'm
where-
glad we got that done.
Unedited.
In a day where there was an earthquake, there's been a lot of earth moving deals.
Yeah, we shook the world today. We shook the world.
I also
today.
want to reemphasize that I want this 11-year-old to fucking show himself. He's a coward. And until he comes out, I don't believe it. I'm not buying this shit that anyone pulled it. If this 11-year-old doesn't come out, you do an interview on MLB Network, ESPN, show yourself, bro.
Why not here?
Yeah, and
Come
Jake,
here, man. Open.
That's exactly what needs to happen. He needs to come on BID, talk to me about it. Talk to me about how he ruined my ruse. I was ready to cash in on season tickets for the Pirates until this guy went out and pulled the fucking card.
Yeah.
How many times is
Dallas?
Dallas going to hit this 11-year-old with my friend? Well, my friend, you fucking I had this whole thing going, my friend, and you fucked it up, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, he's 11, but his net worth right now is sitting pretty fucking nice.
Yeah. Millie. The Millie gang. Good for him. All right. We'll be back on Wednesday this week. Yeah.
Wednesday.
All right. Wednesday, more BID, more baseball talk. I want to say, and if something happens, we'll do an emergency pod. Like, I feel like at this point, like the Alonso one is worth an emergency pod.
Yeah, I'm game. Alonso and Bregman, right?
Alonso and Bregman, yeah. Those are the ones that are left. But like, I don't know. I mean, people keep asking me about Bregman. I'm like, I don't know shit anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Alonso to the Dodgers, emergency pod.
Wow.
I mean, Alonso's interesting no matter what, right? He goes back to the Mets. We're talking that. He goes to some team that nobody's on anybody's radar. That's interesting in its own right, too.
Yeah.
How about the Nationals get him? Maybe like a Jason Worth type trade. Not trade. When they got Jason Worth before they got, you never know.
You never know. You never know. All right. We'll be back on Wednesday. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Wow.